Sports. It's in the game.
I'm the coach. You're locked into the NFL on EA Sports. We are just moments away from kickoff, and we've got a good one on tap between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, EA Sports coverage of the NFL leads us to a snow-covered Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, PA. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, we look at this Steeler ball club entering play. The beat goes on, doesn't it? A perfect 10-0 to start the campaign.
And it's a good locker room to be in, too. Guys don't show up on game day hoping to win. They expect to win. And so far, they've yet to have a letdown.
Meanwhile, for the Bengals here, they come in off a loss last time out, but they've been playing better than 500 ball the last couple months. 5 wins in their last 8 games. The final playoff push is upon us. It's Week 12 of the NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Here come the Bengals now to take over. Leading the charge is the UCF product who hails from right there in the Orlando area in Altamont Springs, Blake Bortles.
Okay, I thought there was something to build on in last week's game by his performance. I thought he played fairly well overall. The numbers won't knock your socks off. 2 touchdown passes and an interception. The bottom line, though, they lost.
Yeah.
How does he eliminate that 1 interception, continue to take care of the ball, and maybe increase the number of times he puts the ball in the end zone with a receiver?
Get ready. Slam.
The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon, takes this to the 27, give him 4 yards. 4 yards the result on the first play from scrimmage, 2nd down. And a look now at the Cincinnati offense.
Out wide, they have A.J. Green, who can run every route you want on the route tree and take the top off a defense with his speed and has the length to go over the top of people to catch the ball. But maybe the most impressive thing about him, The only wide receiver ever to be a Pro Bowler in his first 7 years.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Bud Dupree in there yet again. What else is new? He continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
And this opening drive not going to plan. This is now 3rd and 13. Shotgun now for Bortles. Completes it to Lee. And he'll get this to the 23, but that'll be well short of what he needed. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game, but it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
On 4th down, here's Matt Bosher on to punt. Back deep for the Steelers, Ryan Switzer. He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. It's taken to the 26. Now a hit and a loose football. So here are the Steelers now to take over for the first time. And we get a glance here at their leader, the man who will be calling the plays under center.
And what I enjoyed in preparing for this game was talking not just with the coaching staff, but with him as well. And I found it interesting that the coaching staff sees him one way, and he sees himself an entirely different way.
Yeah, one thing he said he's always working on, we know he's not bad at this, but his footwork, always wants to improve that, and that's something he's going to focus on here.
And what was so funny, what the offensive coordinator say right off the top? He's got great footwork. Love his footwork. So this guy is never satisfied.
First carry for James Conner. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down. The numbers there for Conner in last week's game. 20 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown.
He's been a huge part of their winning streak because he establishes not just an identity and a tone, but the team relies on it. He takes care of the football, he gains yardage for him, chews up clock, and that's been a big part of why they're winning games lately.
On 2nd down, Conner looking for space. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a 1st down.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Here we go. Shift. Alert 3, alert 3.
Throwing on 1st down. Jeffers, he'll find Juju Smith-Schuster. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 19 yards that time for number 19.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Watch the ship. Watch the ship. Hey, watch the ship. Watch the ship.
On 1st and 10 is Conner. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Alert flare. Kill.
They'll run with the NC State man. It's Jalen Samuels, and he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
I think that's the type of run we'll continue to see throughout this game. The snow coming down, I don't expect a lot of big plays to be broken.
44's the mic. Pick it up, guys. Pick it up. Kill. Hey, turn it up. Check your hot read.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. To the end zone, but it's incomplete. Juju Smith-Schuster, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up second down. And a peek now at the offense for Pittsburgh.
An offensive line play is not something that comes to mind readily, but it's always a big key in a ball game. And already these guys, they're getting it done up front. As we've seen this rushing attack have some early success.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Connor. And he'll get this down only to the 18. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be 3rd down. Defensive starters, here they are for Cincinnati. They're going to need to be strong against the run in this one.
I jotted down in my notes in prepping for this game that this is definitely an area we got to keep an eye on, because you're talking about where they rank in stopping the run. Well, how about what they're facing? This unit loves to run the football, and they rank highly in the league in getting it done.
Yeah, power against power. Something's got to give. Now play number 7 of this drive, but it's a tough 3rd and 9.
Jim. Check.
From the gun, Jeffers. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Well, sometimes our pregame meetings do pay off, don't they? What do the guys in the locker room call him?
Well, they said it with a chuckle. They called him Old Reliable.
Yeah, that means he doesn't move quite as fast as he used to, but he still knows all the tricks, doesn't he? Even that little gentle push-off in order to get open, he finds a way to pick up a 1st down.
They'll run here with Connor. And that'll move him a little closer as he takes it from the 7 down to the 4-yard line. No score after 1 on EA Sports. Second and goal from inside the 5. Second and 4. Got his man. It's caught for a Steelers touchdown. From 4 yards out, as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself. No reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
Chris Boswell now for the extra point. And he'll put it through to make it 7-0 Steelers. A 10-play drive that time. And it ends with the Steelers finding the end zone. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So now the Bengal offensive unit back out onto the field. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak can have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. No gain on the play there. Second down. They had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on 2nd and 10. Now Joe Mixon. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
Throwing his Bortles on 3rd down. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
Here's Matt Bosher now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. Here's Switzer. Call that 49 yards on the punt. They do get 7 back on the return. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. Out comes the Steeler offense now, ready to see what they can do here. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in. But I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference. One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
And now here's Switzer, the target, and he's got it. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. The Steelers able to pick up 18 yards there.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Here we go, let's bring it. Let's go, let's bring it. Let's bring it.
On 1st down, Jeffers. That'll be taken in there by James Washington. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. 22 yards on the catch and run, a 1st down. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
On 1st down, it's Connor. And he'll go down at the 26 following a gain of 6.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Under 10. 10. 36.
On 2nd down, it's Connor. And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
2 minutes on the clock, second quarter, 7-0 ball game. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And he will have the first before he's brought down right on the chalk of the 20. 3 yards there, good enough to keep the drive moving.
We all love to have a home run hitter in the backfield. Guy can take it the distance. But in short yardage, trying to pick up 1st downs, that big guy, always a nice luxury to have, isn't he?
Go, go, go. He's tight right here. He's tight on the right. Tight on the right. We got 4. We got 4. SOS.
Inside the red zone here. They'll look to throw. And he's got it. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. The passing game in rhythm right now for Pittsburgh. There's another 1st down. Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half.
Switch.
They'll look to run with Connor. And he's in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. James Conner, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Steelers, they broaden their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
The point after, no gimme in the snow, but it's up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Now Bortles. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The Bengals going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1.
Come on, set. 60-or.
From the gun on 3rd down, Bortles. And that will be incomplete. Problems on 3rd down so far in this first half. Relatively small sample size, but they're now 0 for 3.
And the average in the league, somewhere around 40% on 3rd down for offenses. So what's the answer to this? Either convert them or don't get the 3rd down in the first place. Get your big chunks of yards on 1st and 2nd down.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Switzer on the return. It's a 49-yard punt, but subtract 9 there for the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. You've got under a minute to go here until halftime. You got the good-sized lead. No need to do anything crazy.
No, there really is no need to do anything crazy. The smart play, go ahead and take your lead into the locker room and then try and add to it in the second half. But there's a part of me that looks at this and says, first half going my way. I have a little bit of a cushion. Let's go ahead and try and extend things. If you've got some good plays drawn up, you might want to think about them right here.
On 1st down, Connor going to be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Brought down by the cornerback, William Jackson. This defense could use a few more plays like that right now.
It certainly could, but think about it from an offense's perspective right now. They've got a lead, but they don't want to throttle down too much and stall themselves. Still want to move at a nice pace.
They'll keep it on the ground again here. Pretty good running there, 9 yards. Sets up a 3rd and 1. So we reach halftime here in the Steel City with the Steelers on top. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, bye weeks, they're over. We've once again got a full slate of games to get to as we take you around the NFL here in Week 12. We'll begin up at Bank of America Stadium in Uptown Charlotte, and it's the Browns who have the lead late in the first half. Baker Mayfield with a couple of touchdown passes. From there, we're off to Tennessee to check on the Titans at home in Nashville. And they have the lead in that one over the visiting Chiefs. 2 touchdown passes there for Marcus Mariota. Lastly, we head to the Gulf Coast and check on the Bucs at home in Tampa. And at this point, they trail the visiting Atlanta Falcons. Deontay Burnett, a touchdown reception. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. This will be taken in at the 1. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So here are the Steelers to take over on offense. They've got the lead yet again in this ball game with their winning streak right now sitting at 10. On 1st and 10, Jeffers, open man, completes it to Smith-Schuster. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. Fresh out of the locker room, they hit him with a gain of over 20.
Brandon, there have been some memorable snow games for championships in the NFL. 1948, Philadelphia Eagles, Chicago Cardinals.
Well, the most famous one in my lifetime, I think, is got to be 01, right? Raiders-Patriots to send the Patriots to the Super Bowl.
You had to go to the tuck roll, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one people remember. But I also know this. In Miami, the infamous one, the snowplow game in New England, when they went out there and the Patriots had a guy come out and clear a spot on the field for their field goal kicker to kick the game winner.
Is that 82?
That was 82, and the Dolphins fans will never forget it.
Well, we're not seeing one of those famous games here, but it's fun to be in the snow nonetheless. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
3rd quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
They stay on the ground. Here's Connor again. And he's going to be met at about the 43. 2 yards the gain there, and now they're left with a 3rd and about 4 for a first.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Check. 57's the mic. 57's the mic. Exit. Wide. Get wide. Check.
From the gun on 3rd down, Jeffers, and that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
They went with the dive look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
Here's Jordan Berry now, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. And this will be touched by a member of the kicking team inside the 20, and it's at the 17-yard line. So here are the Bengals now as they get their first possession of this second half. So far, they've had 3 drives, 3 punts. Not good.
Not good indeed, because you've got to have something to show for being out on the field. Now, sometimes, if you have a game where neither side has scored, 3 punts isn't a bad thing. But when you're trying to set the pace, get up on top in a game, you've got to show better offense and find a way to put some points on the board.
He's coming. We got double.
They'll try to get the run game going. This is Mixon. There to make the tackle, Steven Nelson. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
It's just me and you. It's just me and you.
Mixon. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
If these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Set. 60 Pittsburgh. Strip the ball. Strip that ball. Go.
On 2nd and 12, Bortles got his man. It's Eifert.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Bortles now to throw. And the catch good. It's Eifert. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. He's been quiet today in the passing game, just his 2nd catch.
Yeah, and people have to come up with schemes to limit him. And what a lot of teams do, they'll double him, use a linebacker underneath, a safety over the top. Sometimes they'll just take a corner, maybe their 3rd corner if he's a bigger guy, and put him on a man-to-man to try and limit his touches. Just keep mixing it up, give him different angles, different looks, like a good boxer does.
Here's Matt Bosher now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. This is taken at the 18. It's a 45-yard punt, but a decent return there of 9 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That one good for 14 yards and a Steeler first. After he cleared the line of scrimmage, nice little hole developed.
Yeah, great blocking right there at the start. But how about his vision, finding the open spaces and letting his feet carry him to him?
Mike, 44. Check girls.
Right back to Connor here on 1st. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. It's a Pittsburgh first down, a gain of 13.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead, give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down.
Slam.
They'll run here with Connor. Defensively, a solid response after giving up back-to-back first downs.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Let's go. Check 43.
And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
Mike. Tackles, tackle. Check. Check hot route. Hot.
Looking to throw on second down. Jeffers. He'll find Smith-Schuster. That's complete. And he's got another first down as the tackle's going to be made at the Bengals' 17-yard line. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
Check tight end, check tight. Check tight.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29. Carl Nassib in there to bury him for a loss of 11. If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up second down.
Watch the screen, watch the screen. Hey, switch gears, switch gears. Check, check. Fresno, Fresno, Fresno.
Back to throw. Jeffers. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. That one good for 17 as they're set up better now for third down. And he's over 100 yards now after that last catch. Already, of course, leading the NFL in receiving yardage.
So he's done nothing at all to hurt his cause, to stay in that spot. But I've been so impressed with how he's gotten it done. Body control, route running. How about the way he competes for the football at the end of the play?
And the Steelers on third down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 4.
Watch block, motion, block, block, block. No, no, no. Shit, shit, shit.
Operating from the gun. Jeffers. And he'll find Washington. That's complete. And he gets the first down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. It's a gain of 6 as they're able to convert, and now it's 1st and goal. And looking to put this game on ice in the 4th quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
A good chance now to put this game on ice. This is 1st and goal. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he goes backwards on this one, losing yardage to the 7. Now it appears we have a Steeler here slow to get up. We'll check on his status when we get back. Now from the 7, here's 2nd and goal.
Watch the screen. Pass. You go tight. You got tight. You got tight right there. Deuce, 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 deuce.
On 2nd down, Samuels. And he'll be stopped up after only a couple of yards as he gets it down to the 5.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
This has been a long drive. You got to figure a field goal would be a letdown. Can they convert now on 3rd and goal? Looking to throw. Jeffers, the quick slant caught. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. A terrific job there to keep him out of the end zone. And now it'll be 4th and goal.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. And I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the 2nd half. So with that, you figure this game's pretty much out of reach at this point.
Yeah, it's going to take a heck of a comeback to come from 3 scores down, but don't change that channel. Don't go away. miracles can happen, and you want to be here in case it does.
You're a company man.
Aren't I, though?
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Cincinnati offense ready to see what they can do here.
And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points. You feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Here we go, 60 outlaw. We got to get to the ball, team. We got to get to the ball. Let's keep moving. Let's go.
Bortles now on first down. They'll set up the screen here to Mixon. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. A draw play for Mixon. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
Ready? 15 line. 15 line.
From the gun, it's Bortles. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The Bengals going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they stop it prior to what will be an important 4th down. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. So this punt sails out of bounds across midfield. Now the question, they're going to spot it right at the 40, the 40-yard line. Juju Smith-Schuster and the rest of this offense heading back out there. And I know that they double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it? Right. Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
They'll run with Snell to begin the drive. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 12 yards that time at a Pittsburgh first.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line. I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call a timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get him behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. On first down, it's Snell again. And they'll get this just to the 47. 1-yard gain. I guess the simple question, why not just take a knee there?
I don't understand either why you would take any sort of a chance. We've seen it happen in the game of football. Doesn't matter whether you've watched high school, college, or the NFL. Some people get a little greedy, try to get that extra running play in, and it can backfire on them.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. The D can only stop it one more time as they take the knee.
A 1-yard loss on the play. It's now 3rd and 10.
Ready? Hey, no. Check. I got you. Ready?
And the knee is taken for the Steelers out of the victory formation. So this one in the win column.